No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Night of Champions 2023 from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. What a show this was. Shout out to everybody watching this live. Much love and appreciation. Let's get right into it. There is a lot to talk about, a very noteworthy show, to say the least. We kicked off in a big way. They were hyping up 3 main events for this show, and they all delivered. The first one was to crown the new Raw World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Freakin Rollins, wearing yet another outlandish outfit, going up against the ever so reliable and great in-ring performer, AJ Styles. Neither man lost to Roman Reigns during Reigns' run as champion, which, if you're going to introduce a new title, that's the way to do it, right? Anyways, really good match here with these guys. They got plenty of time. They started off with the feeling out process. Crowd was very much into Rollins' song. The Saudi Arabia fans were awesome. I know Saudi Arabia gets a lot of negative publicity and people tend to criticize these shows taking place, but at the end of the day, those WWE fans, they bring the energy. They treat it like a rock concert, and that really adds to the atmosphere at home. By the way, speaking of watching at home, I love doing this early. It's not even 4:30 Eastern yet. Like, this is paradise for me. I want more of these international shows in Europe, Saudi Arabia, just so I can be doing this earlier in the day. It's great. I love the afternoon shows. It's such a nice change of pace. Anyways, back to the match. Very back and forth here. Lots of near falls, evenly matched as you would expect. These guys had a really strong match to establish the title. At one point, Rollins went over the top with a suicide dive, but started selling his knee. AJ Styles tried to exploit it. He put on the calf crusher. Rollins, of course, was able to get out of it. Styles used the pedigree, which is typically Rollins' move. Rollins did kick out. Rollins tried to deliver the curb stomp, but his knee buckled. And then Rollins hit AJ with the pedigree, but could not make the cover right away. Eventually, Rollins had enough in him to deliver the curb stomp and score the 1-2-3 victory to become the new Raw World Champion. Just coming off his movie role. Triple H was there. Triple H, to really put this over, got in the ring and presented the championship to Seth Freakin Rollins. No real surprise here. I think most of us figured that Rollins was going to win. Love the match. Great start to the show. Great way to establish the title. Nice icing on the cake with Triple H out there at the end. So big thumbs up for this, other than the fact that maybe it was a little bit on the predictable side. D. Martin 5th sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, to those that say the World Heavyweight title is a consolation prize, I say hold that thought and give the title and title holder a chance. Very true point. And like I said, Seth Rollins actually defeated Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was not able to beat Seth Rollins. That at least works as far as this title being considered at the level of the SmackDown title, WWE Unified title, because Rollins, I mean, it was not a pin or submission, but Rollins technically in the record book defeated Roman Reigns at the 2022 Royal Rumble. And yes, this was a nice little callback to when Seth Rollins won the NXT title. Triple H and Dusty Rhodes raised his hand. So Very cool moment here. Gareth Smith sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, "Hey up, mate. Great show tonight. Was ace. These Saudi shows have been getting better every time. I'm liking these friendlier times to watch the PLE and more international shows. Looking forward to Money in the Bank." Yes, I saw that Money in the Bank is going to be like 3 p.m. Eastern, which I'm all for. It's a little bit later, but obviously earlier than the usual time for the US shows. WWE, I'm thinking they will, but they really need to do as many international shows as possible. Puerto Rico was great. London's going to be great. Saudi Arabia was great. The domestic shows, like so often, the crowds are not really into it. They tend to be more for the premium live events. Maybe they can start doing some more TV internationally. I know that that's more expensive for them, but like Paris, to have Monday Night Raw and SmackDown or any other city in Europe would just be a nice change of pace. And there's talk about maybe Australia getting a premium live event. We definitely need more of that because these fans really bring the energy and excitement to these shows, and it's very much appreciated as a viewer. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Says, "Today in history, 1996, WCW's first 2-hour Monday Nitro. You people, you know why I'm here." I already botched it. So let me try that again. You people, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. We're live, pal. I totally botched the line, but it's okay. Let's see. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, "They should have a PLE in Australia and Rhea Ripley should be in the main event. Would be awesome. Plus, it would end like at 3 p.m. Eastern, so bonus for us on the East Coast." I do remember they did the Super Showdown back in 2018, and I do remember that being an earlier show. I'm all for that, as you know. Our second match of the evening was Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know your favorite match on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're not, head over to youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. Go in the comment section and let me know your favorite match of the evening, and I'll make sure to acknowledge it if you leave a comment. Now, let's get to Trish and Becky Lynch. One positive about them having to wear the full body gear is that they're creative with the outfits. I'm always looking forward to the various outfits that the women wear when they come out there for the matches. They make the most of it. Trish Stratus had "Thank You, Trish" on the back, and then Becky came out with the Kill Bill gear, which I think she has used before. I feel like she wore the Kill Bill gear on at least one or two occasions, but it's always a nice touch when Becky's out there with it. Endeavor Representative sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "This show saved WWE from a very bad weekly report." And for any of you that are new to the channel, Endeavor Representative is a so-called representative of Endeavor, but not sure if that's actually the case or not, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. Now, this match, I have to admit, going in, I was not really feeling this match. Like the build-up, I thought was subpar. However, they proved me wrong as far as their ability to get me invested. This match, I thought, definitely delivered. Was it technically a masterpiece? No, but I think Trish did well as a heel in this match, and I thought that overall it was an entertaining match back and forth. They got me into it. They got me invested. And Walter says I missed his first super chat. Oh, well, here it is. For some reason, it was not starred on StreamYard. You sent it too soon. That's the problem. He says, "Got a clean sweep. Might have taken the lead in the league now because of the bonus point, but great PLE overall. Say yes to no DQ. Hashtag stick to my shtick. Thank you for that, Walter. Much appreciated. So this was a good match here, and Trish Stratus was taunting the crowd. Becky was able to avoid Stratus faction, built up some momentum, and then Becky applied the disarmor, but Trish started pulling at Becky's hair using the heel tactics. Becky hit the manhandle slam, but Trish was able to get her foot on the rope, went to the outside of the ring, and while the referee was distracted, Zoe Stark came from under the ring and attacked Becky. This allowed Trish to win the match with Stratus faction, and I like the finish here. I like Zoe Stark being with Trish Stratus. I think that this is beneficial to Zoe's career. I think it's a solid pairing, and it makes sense. You elevate Zoe Stark, you make her the muscle for Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus can go out there, be all pretty, and start trash talking, and Zoe Stark standing there, kind of like a Shawn Michaels and Diesel vibe. I think it's a wise decision. I think it will definitely help Zoe Stark and give her a significant role on the Raw roster. And yeah, Trish won. I should have picked Trish, but part of me at the time, maybe it was just the fact that I wasn't feeling the storyline buildup. I just wanted it to end, but everyone's like, this is probably going to be multiple matches, and I should have listened to them. I should have picked Trish, but I'm satisfied. I'm stratified with how this all played out, and it was definitely better than what I was expecting. We had Gunther defending his Intercontinental Championship against Mustafa Ali, and this was another match better than I was expecting. Like, I was almost thinking this was going to be a squash, and Ali actually got in a decent amount of offense. It was fairly competitive. Crowd was loving Ali. He really played up the Muslim heritage, and the crowd was fully into him. But in the end, Ali hit some big moves. He came off the top with the 450, could not pin Gunther. Gunther eventually took out Ali, beat him with the power bomb. Very solid match. I don't think it really hurt Ali at all in this. I think if anything, it actually did elevate him a little bit, the fact that he could hold his own against Gunther and they had a solid match. So thumbs up, better than I was expecting. We had Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. Both of them are on SmackDown fighting for the Raw Women's Championship. So what is going on here? Anyways, real quick, Big G sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, G. He says, remember when they did Raw in Italy? Hashtag cat dads stick together. What a good show from Saudi. I do remember that, and they should absolutely get back to Italy. Like, they need to do more TV overseas, not just the premium live events, as far as I'm concerned. I know it's expensive, but I think they should do it, and I think they can draw the crowds too. So they do enough dates, they do more tours, maybe they can make it profitable. And if it's not all that profitable, like, does it really matter? Like, I think sometimes you have to spend the money and have those really hot crowds. And when people are watching at home and they see the crowds reacting, I think it'll get people domestically more invested, perhaps. So it could pay off in the long run. Gareth Smith sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, do you think we'll get a confirmation on Raw on what WWE... Well, he's skipping ahead here, so I'm kind of giving away what happened before I even recapped the match. Do you think WWE will confirm what happens with the women's titles, or will they get rebranded? I think we're going to get the title swap. I did mention this when we did the predictions video, that if Asuka won, you could do the title swap and you don't have to worry about Bianca's run ending with a title swap. Bianca already broke the record for the longest reign of the modern era. So you can take the title off of her. She needed a change anyways. And you could have Asuka and Rhea Ripley trade the titles. Like, I'm not a fan of that whole idea to begin with, as far as exchanging the titles. But at least now it doesn't really matter that much because Asuka just won the title. So anyways, good match here. Solid match with them. Again, I like the outfits. Bianca was very aggressive in this match. She was upset about being misted in the face leading up to this match. And Asuka attempted to use the mist, but Bianca avoided it. And then Asuka did something that I haven't really seen. Like, maybe it happened in Japan. Probably did. I think they mentioned the Great Muta, that Asuka got this idea from him. She sprayed the mist into her own hand. And then when Bianca went for the KOD, she wiped the mist-covered hand into Bianca's eyes, so blinding her that way. And then Asuka kicked her in the back of the head and scored the 1-2-3 victory. Love the finish here. Very creative. Asuka wins the title. I'm all for it. I think it was the right move. I think it was the right time. Bianca had her run, and maybe it's time to do something different with her at this point. But yeah, Gareth, I think they're going to just simply swap the titles. Mike B sent in a $5 super chat, says, overall, a very good show. On a side note, sorry about your cat. I know the feeling. Prayers for you. I appreciate that, Mike B. As you guys know, if you're a pet owner, it's a tough decision when you have to let your animal go if they're sick, they're suffering, they get old. And yeah, it was a rough day on Friday. It definitely was, but thankfully a lot of people have been supportive, and I'm able to have a good show here to put me in a better mood. So I'm definitely thankful for that. Thank you all for tuning in, loving the positive energy. So much appreciation to everybody out there. All right, now we move on to Rhea Ripley versus Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship, even though Rhea Ripley and Natalya are on Raw. You know, this needs to end. I think it's going to end either on Raw or SmackDown this week. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat, says, unify the women's title, have Rhea beat Asuka. I would not do that at this point. I think they should just keep the titles separate, unless you're going to have keep in mind, there's no mid-card women's championship. So unless you do that and you introduce a mid-card title, then I think you got to have a champion on each brand. With the men's titles, and you know, they're not even unified really anymore. I mean, technically Roman Reigns has the unified titles, but now you got the Raw title, so there are separate world titles for each brand. Anyways, yeah, this was the worst match of the night, but I mean, wasn't really much of a match. It was a squash. Rhea Ripley took advantage when Dominic distracted Natalya. Rhea sent Natalya into the steel steps, the announce table, got her back in the ring, and won with the Riptide. And let's be real here. They had no build-up really for this match. I mean, very little. I shouldn't say nobody, but I think when I say nobody, it's a general sense that I don't really think anybody realistically thought that Natalya was winning here. No, I don't think anybody thought she really had a snowball's chance in hell. So you might as well just get this over with, have a nice squash win for Rhea Ripley, I should say. It was Natalya's birthday. Happy birthday to her. She got a payday. I'm sure, like people are saying, she goes all the way to Saudi Arabia for her birthday just to lose. Well, you know what? I'm betting that that paycheck was nice, and she could probably buy herself some nice things, maybe some nice vehicles with that payday. The game is on 100 sent in a $2 super chat. Says, poor Natty getting squashed on birthday, so sad, LOL. Yeah, I mean, when her check comes in, I don't think she's going to be too upset about it, quite frankly. Now we move on to Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. But before we get to that, Hamp Connell sent in $2. He says, sorry for your cat. Had my dog for 18 years. I know. Well, that's remarkable. For 18 years, that's a long time. My cat was 16, and that for a cat is very old. It's just sad because I had him for pretty much my entire adult life, and it's tough when all of a sudden the cat's not around. And my other cat, she's doing okay, but you always wonder like how the other cat is going to be, especially when they grew up together. But again, thank you guys for your comments. Let's get to this match here. Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. 2, the rematch from Backlash. Cody Rhodes had a large cast for his broken arm, And that was the main story of this match. Cody Rhodes trying to fight Brock Lesnar with one arm. But what was funny about this is they're acting like any shot to the arm was bad, but then Cody could hit Brock Lesnar with the cast as a weapon. Although you remember, this was the old Cowboy Bob Orton gimmick where Bob Orton had the cast, but the idea was that he was recovered and was using the cast long after he got injured. So it was all BS anyways. But yeah, Cody's using the cast as a weapon to try and fight off Brock. And this was the closest thing to like a normal Brock Lesnar match that I've seen in a while. Typically with a Brock Lesnar match, it's like a spam fest. F5, the other guy hits his moves. But they were telling a story here, and I thought they did a really good job with it. Cody was on the verge of beating Brock a few times, but then Brock got on the Chimera lock. Cody was not giving up. He was trying to escape. He almost passed out, but did the old Hulk Hogan routine where the referee is holding up his arm and then it shoots up at the last second. Cody does get to the rope. He hit the crossroads. He hit several of them, but Lesnar kicked out. Lesnar hit the F5. So we were getting the finishers, but they didn't just start doing them out of the gate like typical Brock Lesnar matches. Lesnar was eventually able to reapply the Kimura lock, and finally Cody Rhodes just passed out. He did not tap out. He passed out. Lesnar would not let go of the hold right away. So a little bit of extra heel work here from Brock. Crowd, I think people are actually starting to throw things at him, which you don't see too often at wrestling shows. I at least saw 1 or 2 bottles in the ring. And Brock was getting some heat. Really good match here. And what happens now to Cody? That's the big question. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, said, what's next for Cody Rhodes after the Brock Lesnar feud ends? Well, I think for one thing, he will maybe take some time off to sell the so-called injury, maybe until Money in the Bank. Like, it would not shock me if he shows up at Money in the Bank as a surprise last-minute entrant. We know WWE likes to do that. I think he'll be in Money in the Bank if I had to make a bold prediction. Maybe he wins Money in the Bank, cashes in on Roman at SummerSlam, but then Brock Lesnar comes over to SmackDown. Remember, Brock can appear on either show, and then we get that rubber match, this time for the world title, Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. And let's see here. Arnstein sent in an NOK $5.99 super chat, so thank you very much for that. Says, I love cats and half-naked men pretending to hate each other. Happy to hear you live for once. Or happy to hear you live for once. Wow. We're live, pal. We're not live. We're certainly not live. We're not Liv Morgan. We are live. So thank you for that. Much appreciation to you. Thank you for tuning in live. I know it's difficult for people in various areas, which is another reason it's nice to do these shows earlier. We get some different people in the chat room for once. Hamp Connell sent in a $2 super chat, says, this was built as a fight. We got a normal match. I still thought it was a fight. Like in MMA, they're called fights and guys are doing submission holds. You can still exchange submission holds in a fight. You had a guy hitting another guy with a cast. Like, it was still a fight. It wasn't a street fight or anything, but it was a fight for sure. I think that, Hamp, love you, man, but I think that's a little bit of nitpicking right there. This guy Experience sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, what happened to the 3-arm lifts during a submission hold? Tired of the babyface not topping. AJ should have won. Sorry for your loss. Bloodline storyline is number 1. I agree with you about the Bloodline storyline. AJ winning, like, I would have been fine with that, but I want to see what they're doing with Cody. I'm okay with Cody winning Money in the Bank. I know people want LA Knight to win, but Cody winning could be his path to Roman Reigns. That's what I want to see. If Cody's not going after Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, then maybe I'll agree with you that perhaps AJ should have won. But Rollins, he's the workhorse guy. Not that AJ isn't, but Rollins is red hot right now. The crowd's singing his song. He's got all the momentum in the world. So I totally understand the booking decision to have him win. And as far as the one arm for safety reasons or whatever it is, like, I know wrestling's a work and you can do the 3 drops of the arm like they used to, but I'm fine with them doing the one. But yeah, it does add a little bit more dramatic effect. And I always remember Hulk Hogan with the 3rd arm drop. He'd shoot his arm up and wave the finger. Like, I remember that very vividly. Good times. I mean, it doesn't really bother me either way, but I could definitely see why people would like the old 3 times method with the arm. Really good match here, and they definitely have the door open for the rubber match at some point. The question is when. And finally, we had the main event of the evening. The tag team title match, unified tag team titles. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens defending against the unified universal champion Roman Reigns and his muscle, his enforcer, Solo Sikoa. This was Roman's 1,000-day run as champion, celebrating 1,000 days, although the official celebration is going to be Friday on SmackDown, but this was the actual 1,000th day. And what a reaction for Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn coming out there with Arab garment, and he cut a promo in Arabic. Crowd was super into him, very close to how they were reacting in Montreal. And Roman was great here as a heel. He immediately tagged out to Solo Sikoa, let Solo start the match with Sami Zayn. And it was a pretty standard tag match in the beginning. They worked over Sami Zayn for a while after Roman Reigns took some cheap shots. Eventually, Kevin Owens got a hot tag, and Owens and Reigns went back and forth. Reigns hit a stunner, but then Reigns bounced off the ring ropes and came over with a spear. Both guys were down. Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa tagged back in, and it was back and forth here. Good guys started to build up some momentum. Sami Zayn hit the haluva kick to Solo, but Roman Reigns broke up the pin. And yes, Roman Reigns was getting tons of heat, and he was totally milking it for all it was worth. He was interacting with the fans, and at one point even, I guess Sami Zayn tried to chop him, and Roman's like, what are you, trying to be the nature boy now? Great stuff. Roman's always really good with the trash talking. And Roman Reigns ended up hitting a spear or going for a spear, but accidentally took down the referee. So you know what this means. You know that we got the Usos coming. They are on their way here. The Usos, sure enough, showed up. Roman Reigns was about to be put through the announce table by Kevin Owens, but the Usos showed up. They attacked Owens, took him out, got in the ring. They super kicked Sami Zayn one at a time, and then they were going for the double super kick. However, Sami Zayn, I guess, collapsed instead of moving. I mean, he was super kicked twice, so he could have just collapsed, but he fell down, and the Usos accidentally super kicked their own brother, Solo Sikoa. Things are getting spicy here. Roman Reigns gets in the ring. He is pissed off. He pie faces Jimmy. He starts yelling at Jay. He pie faces Jay. And that's when Jimmy super kicks Roman Reigns intentionally. And the place just went unglued. Massive pop. I love it. It's just like the Royal Rumble when Sami Zayn hit Roman Reigns with the chair. The pop was so loud that you actually heard distortion. Like the volume was so high, the noise was distorted. I love when that happens. Like it's just epic. And Jimmy and Jay started having words, but Jay was trying to tell Jimmy, what are you doing here? Are you out of your mind? And Jimmy is basically saying that he did what Jay should have done a long time ago. And then he gave Roman Reigns another super kick, another massive pop from the fans. And Jimmy says they need to get out of there. And Jay reluctantly leaves the ring with his brother. They're out. Solo Sikoa is by himself. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn take advantage. Sami Zayn pins Solo Sikoa with the haluva kick. Good guys win. Sami Zayn wins his first match on a WWE event in Saudi Arabia. Massive pop, and this part of the story is over. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens get the last laugh on Roman Reigns. Good guys win, and now we can turn our attention to the next chapter of this storyline, and that is the implosion of the Bloodline. And yeah, I did hear that too, Jerry. You could hear Jay calling out Joe, which is Roman's real name. Man, this was great. They did such a fantastic job here with this Bloodline storyline. Steeler Lee sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, all hail the new tribal chief, Jimmy Uso. Well, Roman Reigns is going to have an issue with that for sure. Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Coke is the tribal chief of sodas, not Pepsi. I like Coke Zero, but Diet Coke, no. Hard pass on Diet Coke. If you guys are interested, I did a video taste testing every diet soda I could find. It's on my personal channel, youtube.com/Aaron Rift, for anyone interested out there in something non-wrestling. Building Nexus sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, maybe the Bloodline feud gets so bad The Rock has to get involved. And RIP to Tina Turner. Absolutely one of the all-time greatest singers and entertainers. RIP for sure. And yeah, maybe The Rock does get involved. And this is all going to lead to The Rock. I feel like there's still a lot of story to be told with this Bloodline feud. And Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. Much appreciated. Says, I believe this breakup. I will believe the breakup when I see it. On SmackDown, they will probably make us wait 2 hours for a main event segment where all is forgiven. Well, you got to definitely keep it at a slow pace, but this really feels like it's on. Like we're going to get the tag team match. It's just a matter of, are they going to do it in London? I mean, certainly not SummerSlam because Roman has to defend that title. So maybe London, maybe they try to drag it out a few more months until after SummerSlam, but I definitely see layers to this and different matchups. We're probably going to get the tag match. Then I could definitely see the singles match, either Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso and or Jimmy, maybe both. And then, of course, down the line, what about Solo Sikoa? Roman Reigns versus Solo? That remains to be seen as well. Ashley Gamer 64 sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Jimmy would rather take the physical abuse from Roman Reigns rather than the mental abuse. Yeah, and I like how each Uso has their own way of doing things, and Jey has been very loyal to Roman. Jimmy, he's loyal, but at the same time, he doesn't like being messed around with, and it seems like Jey is going to be conflicted now, and that's another layer that makes this very interesting. Like, does Jey try to side with his brother, or does he side with Roman? Does he try to keep his spot as the right-hand man? But Solo's kind of taking that role. So there's a lot of different layers to this, which is why it's been such a great storyline. Each guy has their own way of doing things. Bill R. sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Just a friendly reminder to everybody out there. Says, great PLE, but don't forget, Curtis Axel was never eliminated from the Rumble and has been going strong for 3,044 days. Hashtag no DQ Galaxy for life. Thank you for that, Bill R. Much appreciated. Thank you for the fun fact, Curtis Axel. I think there's more of them. Wasn't Santino never eliminated? I feel like there were several guys that were actually never technically eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Ryan sent in a $1 super chat, but no comment. Thank you for that, Ryan. Much appreciated. Excellent main event. Love the storytelling. And all in all, great show. I mean, I have very little to complain about. The worst match on the show, I thought, was actually for the best to have it as a squash. Like, there's almost nothing I can say negative about. Everything was really strong. Main event, top tier stuff. As far as match of the year contenders, like, I don't know if there was any match where I would say was like the match of the year, but very good matches across the board from start to finish. Shanti is here, sent in a $2 super chat, says, we've seen Jey versus Roman already. Now it's Jimmy's turn. That is true, but we never saw Roman versus Jey in front of an actual crowd. That's the thing. And that was the beginning of the storyline. So now there's so much back and forth here, so many layers that I think people will be even more invested than they were the first time around, since that was just the beginning of the Bloodline storyline. They weren't even called the Bloodline yet when it got started. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. Much appreciated. Says, I would have Roman kick the Usos out of the family, then Rikishi, then keep kicking out people until The Rock says he is the head of the table. And you never know. Like, we're still talking about it, and I think it might still be a possibility. Again, it depends on The Rock and what his schedule is and if he can commit to something. I would not rule it out, though. Like, I think you can still make it happen. I would get the title off of Roman. I would have Cody win it at SummerSlam, and if The Rock is able to do it, let's go. WrestleMania 40. I mean, if they were going to do that match for WrestleMania 40, I might make an effort to go to Philadelphia for that one. Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says, R-Truth and Lana from 2019 were also not eliminated. Well, do not tell Lana, because I'm sure she'll tweet about it and make a big deal out of it if you bring it up. She'll brag about it. R-Truth, like, yeah, he might use that line if he ever comes back and is in a Royal Rumble again. Gives him something. Gives him a little a little bit of bragging rights, you could say, that he technically wasn't eliminated. Letter grade for the show, I'm going with an A. If there was like one match that I thought was a very clear match of the year contender, I think I would have gone A+. But I'm going to go with an A. Excellent show. Worth watching, even if you're against the Saudi Arabia stuff. I think you should give it a shot. This was a really fun show. Crowd was awesome. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I love the early shows. That definitely helps. But even if this was at 8 o'clock Eastern, I still would have given this show an A. Excellent stuff here. So that's it for the recap. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment with your match of the night. I will be back after Double or Nothing. We got another big show coming up. NXT is going head-to-head. Sunday night is going to be crazy, but I will be back, I guess, Monday morning because you know the AEW shows run late. I will be back after Double or Nothing to give my thoughts on that pay-per-view event. And of course, NoDQ.com will have live coverage. Results are up for Night of Champions right now. So if you want more details, some video clips, head over to NoDQ.com right now. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. I don't get to say that too often. Take it easy. Much love. And I will see you all next time. And don't forget, say yes to NoDQ.com. See you next time.